Dear supporters groups, dear obedient, dear citizens who support Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, it's 50 days to election, and I must say to you, we all must work together. This is the time we are almost at the finish line. How many days was it ago? Many, many days. In their hundreds ago was when this whole movement started. And there were many people who said this movement will not get to where it is today. We are here and we'll get to the finish line. Not only will we get to the finish line, we will deliver on this. We will ensure that Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, by the grace of God, we get the highest number of votes and we also fulfill the constitutional requirement of getting two-thirds of 36 states. That's 24 states. He must get 25% in them. And this is the work that we all must do. We all have our different groups. We all have our own individual preferences of work that we've been doing. But this is the time for us to come together and collaborate and work together. Because when we work together, we'll achieve more things. It doesn't make any sense for energy to be dissipated, so much energy by different groups to be dissipated in one place, and then other places things are lacking. What we'll do is that when we come together, we look at the different strengths that groups have, individuals have, and let them take the lead on it. And the rest of us will support. We'll have a place which is like a war room. It doesn't have any name. We are working together and just getting to see what are the things that need to be done, and we all will be doing them. There will be no leadership in terms of vertical leadership that everybody is used to, the traditional kind of leadership. Oh, there's one person who is giving orders, who everybody know. We all are leaders. And it's going to be a horizontal leadership where your leadership is determined by the work you're ready to do. So if, for example, there is a state group that people are in, it doesn't matter that not one person will be called to say, oh, you are the leader of the state. No, what work are you doing? That will make you the leader. It will make you the de facto leader or leaders. So you take on the work as to take charge and go on. In that way, we'll achieve more. And we will not sit down and be thinking about who is getting the recognition, who is getting the accolades. We don't have time for all of those. Positioning, accolades, representation, being seen, this is not the time. This is the time for us all to focus on this task that we have set forth to do, and that is to make sure that Mr. Peter Gregory Obi becomes the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so we must all let go of whatever it is that we think we should have. What we should focus on is what is it that takes us quicker to our singularity of purpose, our common goal, which is a win for Peter Obi and Labour Party. And so that's all what we must focus on. And so please, let's come together. We can all keep our individual identities. We can keep our organizational identities. But let's meet at one point where we are working together. And this will be like a war room. There's no name for it. There's no name for this coming together because it's work. But let me tell you something. At this stage that we are in now, this 50 days to election, what we need is a movement kind of structure, not an organizational structure. I know some people will say, what's the difference? Let me tell you. The difference is that in a movement kind of structure, there's fluidity and decisions can be made quickly. You can think on your toes, you can be creative, and you can get on. In the organizational kind of setup, there's bureaucracy, there's this, you have to follow certain rules and everything. Oh, this person has to sign off on this before things have to be done. You might take time. So it's more rigid. And because we have such short time, we don't have time for that rigidity. So we more must come together and be working loosely in a movement structure. The organizational structures that you all have built will be needed. And Mr. Peter Obi have said this several times, that indeed when he gets into office by the grace of God, that he will work, because that's when the real work starts. And that's why he will need the support groups in building Nigeria. the Nigeria that all of us have been yearning for. So this movement that we are trying to have, where we're saying let's come together, let's have our, while we are still keeping our organizational and individual identities, let's have a place where we are all working towards achieving this goal. And as soon as election is done, as soon as results are collated, as soon as the result is announced, it collapses. That's the end of this movement. But you see, all the support groups that you have, the organizational structure that you have, it is now time, it is then that you now get into work, because we must entrench good governance in Nigeria, transparency, and also accountability. And so there is so much work that needs to be done. And so please, 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 I'm appealing to every one of you. Let's come together and let's work together. There is no, like I said earlier, there's no one leadership here. Until you are inconsequential in a movement, there is no movement. Your movement must be able to go on without anybody. And that's when we'll know, yes, we have something that it's really working. Every one of us, we've developed different things that we're really working at perfectly, doing greatly on. But what we have to do now is that collaboration that needs to be done. And please, let's do it. Let's come together. Don't, whatever it is that has happened, oh, like people say, oh, there are quarrels here. There is nowhere where there are no quarrels. Even people will quarrel, even on your own, you will quarrel with yourself. There are times you've done something like, why did you do that? So it's normal, it's perfect. But you know what? We'll keep our differences aside. We'll keep our, whatever it is that we have going on, and focus on the singularity of purpose. And that is to get Mr. Peter Gregory Obi elected as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You and I can do it. We all can come together. Let's bring in our qualities. Let's bring in our skill sets. Let's bring in our social capital. Let's bring in the things we need to bring in to ensure that we get a win for our principal, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. A new Nigeria is possible, and you and I can make it happen. And let's do it. When we are done on March 1st, we can sit down and say to ourselves, man, we were crazy, but we did it. Remember what Nelson Mandela says, it's impossible until it's done. Yes, by the grace of God, we'll make it done. A new Nigeria is possible. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and bye-bye.